Welcome to another Ashman Kings of War Battle Report. Abyssal Dwarfs versus the Northern Alliance. 2,300 points, and the scenario was pillage. I'm just going to warn you that there's something in this battle report that I've never shown you before. I am playing with proxied and unpainted models. Since there's an interesting outcome to the game, Carl insisted that I go ahead and do this battle report. So I'm going to go ahead and do the battle report, despite my horrid-looking models. And the bad thing was that some of my other models that I was going to use to proxy that are actually very similar to these models were in my car, which my wife had. So my Orc Horde looks like garbage. The Obsidian Golems look like garbage. Pretty much everything's garbage. So anyway, I'll just get to my army list. I have 2 regiments of Immortal Guard. One had the Hammer of Measured Force, and one had Blessing of the Gods. I had a Slave Orc Horde, a Slave Orc Gore Riders regiment with a Potion of the Caterpillar, a Gargoyles troop, 2 hordes of Lesser Obsidian Golems with a Charnox upgrade, 1 regiment of Abyssal Grotesque, a Greater Obsidian Golem, which I really like, a Slave Driver with the Warbow of Kaba, a Iron Caster with the Shroud of the Saint, Surge, and Fireball. Yes, I totally messed this guy up. And then lastly, an Overmaster on Ancient Winged Half-Breed for a total of 13 drops and 23 unit strength. And like me, Carl has been putting together and painting brand new models. So his army looks fantastic. Mine looks like garbage. So here he starts off with a horde of human clansmen with 2-handed weapons and a Potion of the Caterpillar. Because of the reconfiguration of his army, I let him borrow a unit of dwarf clansmen to go in there because I had some points and I thought a unit strength unit would be a better addition. But Carl has a dwarf army, so he could easily go ahead and add them in permanently. He has an Ice Naiads horde with the Hammer of Measured Force. That thing eat me alive. 2 units of Snow Foxes, a troop of Tundra Wolves. Those are brand new. A horde of Snow Trolls with the Brew of Sharpness. A regiment of Snow Trolls. That was another new unit. An Icekin Bolt Thrower. The always lethal Cavern Dweller. A Frostfang regiment, which was another brand new unit he had just painted. The Lord with the Wings of Honey Maze and a Snow Fox. A Lord on a Frostfang, and a Snow Troll Prime, another brand new unit he just deployed on the table. And I got to say that I like all of these additions. It makes the army play totally different than the last 3 or 4 times I've played against it. It has 15 drops and 24 unit strength. So on to deployment. We're going to start off on the other side of the battlefield and look at Carl's deployment. We have piled up beside my house here. We have a unit of Snow Foxes, and they're leading a Snow Troll horde that has the Brew of Sharpness, a very, very lethal unit. And then he added a Snow Troll regiment now as kind of a throwaway, and they are all led by a Lord on a Frostfang, which is just basically one of the best models in the game. And on top of the hill is his very deadly Icekin Bolt Thrower. That thing just ate my lunch the last game we played. Over on Carl's left flank, he put my loaned unit of Dwarf Clansmen, which are actually my Berserkers, and stuck them there to hold that flank. But along with the Cavern Dweller and the Snow Troll Prime, the reason there's an X across the Huskarls is that they did not appear in this game. We were redoing his list, and we had dropped them out so that he could use all these new models that he has. And I got to say, I really liked dropping them out because I think the list worked better. In the very middle was Carl's bulwark of troops that are going to try to run up here and grab some of these object or loot tokens. A Klansman unit with 2-handed weapons and the Potion of the Caterpillar, always a good unit. The always lethal Ice Naiads. Ice Naiads irritate me. Any kind of Naiad irritates me with Ensnare and a high regeneration. You have to put so many assets into killing them. It's just awful. And then a unit of Snow Foxes, which are always probably one of the best chaff units in the game, to be honest. Okay, so these are Carl's 2 brand new units, a unit of Tundra Wolves leading a Frostfang regiment. So you can see he is loaded on that right flank with all those trolls, the Frostfangs, Lord on the Frostfang, and now he's got some Tundra Wolves there, his chaff unit. And of course, Tundra Wolves are incredibly fast, and so they'll be all over me in just a second. This should look a lot better than it is, but again, my wife had my car, and it had all my orc figures in it, and my other unit of Chaos Ogres that I was going to use for Golem. So instead, you're going to get unpainted and proxied models. The slave orcs are fine. It's just a big unit of orcs here. I decided to put out here to hold the flank, and realizing very quickly it was not going to hold the flank with all those snow trolls and stuff there. So, but I thought maybe it would distract him a little bit. I threw the slave driver in there with him with the war bow. He managed 2 wounds on the Lord on Frostfang, so hey, it wasn't a total waste of 5 points. The Abyssal Half-Breed Champion, which one of my favorite models in this army. I'd really like to figure out a way to get 2 in the list, just because they're so versatile. And then a unit of slave orcs, which are being proxied by my Goblin Wolf Riders, 2 hordes of lesser obsidian golems, and they are actually lesser obsidian golems. I just put them together, and like I said, I was going to use my painted models in their place because they're already mounted, multi-base, the whole 9 yards, but they weren't here at the house. So over on my right flank, I had my Overmaster. He's over there with both units of Immortal Guards. The 2-point token was right in front of the Immortal Guards, and I thought I should go get it. I also put the Greater Obsidian Golem over there, and over behind the tower, there's a couple of more units. There's a token right in front of these guys, so I'm going to run over there and get it with this regiment of Grotesque and this troop of Gargoyles. The Grotesque are kind of neat because there are some Minotaurs I either bought or somebody gave to me, and they have all these chaos tentacles laying all over them. So they actually kind of work for Grotesque for me. So I get the first turn, and the Grotesque go ahead and move forward and grab the first token. The Gargoyles come up and just take a solid turn to the left and are looking down the flank of the Northern Alliance forces. I should have just kept the Gargoyles behind the Grotesque. I don't know why I put them out there. I wasn't worried about shooting, but I did forget about that Lord with the Wings of Honey Maze. My goal here was to get those Immortal Guards onto the 2-point objective and just hold it. To help them out, I had the Obsidian Golem and then the Overmaster. I really wish I would have put the Overmaster like over there where the Gargoyles and the Decimators were, because I think I would have had a lot better threat. And I mean, I'm trying to intimidate a little bit, but there's no way I'm going to take an unsupported charge on the first turn, even if you give me a flank. So my Abyssal, whatever these things are, lower Obsidian Golems move forward online along with the Ironcaster in between them. The Slave Orc Gore Riders move up and turn left and trying to protect the front of the Orcs, as well as the Abyssal Half-Breed Champion. Yeah, I'm setting up somewhat of an ambush, but I realize that all he really has to do is move forward. I have nothing there that could stop all those trolls and that hero and everything else. I have nothing. I've got nothing for them. All I can do is play delay over here and just throw garbage at them. Carl just moved everything forward pretty much online. The Snow Foxes go out there and start sneaking toward that middle objective. And I believe they get it, and I just totally forget about them. Next thing I know, I'm looking, and they're going back across the table with that loot counter in their hands. So over here on his right, he did move forward with everything. I really think he should have went ahead and just moved the snow trolls forward too. The horde especially. I mean, they were going to crush through whatever they hit in front of me. I mean, like I said, there was no reason to slow down over on this flank. He should have just came over and just bowled me straight down. So the Abyssal Grotesque move up and take a left turn to threaten the flank of the Dwarfs. The Gargoyles come up to keep them honest. I really don't intend to charge them unless I can double charge that unit. But at least they have to think about that I'm behind them now, and that I could be able to do some sort of mischief back there. Realizing there was really nothing up there for me right now, so I went ahead and moved the Overmaster back a little bit, and the Golem is just out of charge range of everything, but you're going to see what in a second a miracle as that unit of Huskarls explodes. No, it just disappears because we realized that it actually wasn't in the list. So the Ice Naiads just move over and to take that spot. The Obsidian Golems just move forward, and the one on the left opens up with the Charnox and wavers the unit of Tundra Wolves, which will hopefully keep those Frostfang Cav behind them. I did move the Orcs forward slightly. His Icekin Bolt Thrower hit my stupid slave master or slave driver, whatever he is, on the first turn for 3 wounds. that bolt thrower has just been killing me the last few games. So, and he just about killed my slave driver or slave mat, whatever he's called, in this game. So I started trying to hide him a little bit better. Otherwise, everything just kind of stayed where it is because I'm just trying to slow him down. And yeah, I realize there's a bad hinge right there with where those orcs are and that unit of obsidian golems. Now I remember why I hide gargoyles. Here comes the Lord up with the Wings of Honey Maze charging into him, and he'll wipe them out. You can see here that the regiment of Huskarls has totally disappeared, and now the Ice Naiads are kind of in their place. Carl's moving pretty aggressively here to try to get this. This is my 2-point token, and I'm doing everything to keep it. But he's brought a lot of combat power here with the Snow Foxes chaffing me up, and then the Ice Naiads, which are just lethal to my big elemental, and of course the Cavern Dweller, which is virtually unkillable, and then the Snow Troll Prime that's inspiring him, and the Dwarf Clansmen this game do a really good job. And I told Carl, I said, I think I would leave him in the list because he has a dwarf army. And I like them, even for as cheap as they are. It's actually making me contemplating getting some Black Souls regiments just to throw in my Abyssal Dwarf army just to hold objectives and do stuff like that. The Thunderwolves were stopped by being wavered, but the rest of his line just came up online. I had nothing to stop this. It was going to be bad. All I could do is just play hard as I can. He had a lot of good advantages here with those clansmen with two-handed weapons. They'll eventually can eat one of these hordes of golems with just so many swings and crush two. And then the Naiads with the measured force. And we had just changed that unit because it used to have Brew of Strength. So it wasn't quite as good against these heavily armored guys. But all of a sudden, I made it amazing against heavily armored guys. Carl was being non-aggressive over here on this end. He knew he could go get that token anytime he wanted to because I had nothing to... I could go get it, but I couldn't hold it with all that combat power there. I'd be getting hit from two sides just trying to get that token. So it's fairly safe, and I believe that is his 2-point token. So in my turn, I moved up to get my 2-point token, and Overmaster moved in behind to protect him. The Obsidian Golem just moved back because I was trying to stay away from those Naiads. Those things are good. Those are killers on a guy like this. This turn, I just basically hold the line. The 1-point token is right in front of me, and but I don't see any good reason to move out there and get charged in the flank. So I just hold the line this turn and shoot the Charnox. One goes into the unit of Clansmen. I think I did 5 points of damage, so that was pretty good. And then the other one goes into the Frostfang Cav regiment. Yep, this is not going to be good. The Ice Naiads and the Cavern Dweller go into the left unit of Immortal Guard, and the Snow Troll Prime and the Dwarfs go into the right unit of Immortal Guard. I don't know what I could have done to prevent it. I would have probably just had to sacrifice the Abyssal Golem, Golem to the Naiads, which was kind of pointless anyway. So I just decided to try to do this and take it. Yeah, he rolled really well and took off my unit of Immortal Guard. I mean, they're pretty hard to break. They're like -17, so they're not a soft unit by any stretch of the imagination. So, but Carl easily took them off the table this turn for some reason. Over here, Carl launches a massive attack in my middle. The Thunderwolves go into the unit of lower Obsidian Golems on the left, and then that very lethal unit of Clansmen with two-handed weapons. And Potion the Caterpillar goes into the right. You can see the Snow Foxes now are sneaking off with the token for the middle. Like I said, I didn't even really notice what he was doing with them until toward the end of the game. Like, oh, daggone it, they grabbed the token and took off with it, or the loot counter. So that was a good move on Carl's part. So over here, Carl did what he should have done 2 turns ago and moved up and took that token. Like I said, there is nothing there in my army that can take any of that stuff out. So there was no way I was going to stop this. But I mean, he could have done it 2 turns ago and made it even worse, because then he could be flanking into these Obsidian Golems here through the woods with those trolls, or that Lord on Frostfang. I was pleasantly surprised by how little damage I had taken this turn with despite the double charges there. And I thought maybe I should be able to get some retribution back on him, but any kind of thing that hits on 4s, it's so squirrely. I mean, here this would be on the right unit. This is 18 for 4s, and 1, so that's about 8 wounds a turn. So that is probably not going to get him in one go. I really wanted to charge that Cavern Dweller and get it out of the game, but I didn't have any way to get the Golem and the Overmaster in on it because of base sizes being so large. So I ended up having to, I charged the Cavern Dweller in the flank, and yes, I know that's death on its left flank. I'm hoping to take it out, and then the Overmaster went into the front of the Dwarves, and the Grotesque regiment goes into the flank of them, hoping to take them out this turn. So this turn, the dice disaster happened. The Greater Obsidian Golem failed to kill that Cavern Dweller. That is going to be an awful, awful situation. I mean, it's bad enough that the Ice Naiads are going to pound on him, and now they're going to pound on him in his flank. So that's horrid. And despite all those swings, the Overmaster and the Grotesque failed to kill a 100-point, 115, 110-point dwarf unit in one go. And it was like, what's that, 400-something points? That was awful, too. So I am in a world of hurt at this point, and I have no way out of it. Well, I guess any other cavalry, I probably would have just backed out of those Tundra Wolves and not even fought him and make him charge through the woods with his Frostfang. But guess what? They have Strider, so it doesn't matter if they charge through the woods. So I decided to just hold right here after I killed the Tundra Wolves. So I took a risky move this turn. I went ahead and charged the half-breed champion into the Lord on the Frostfang because I had nipped him 2 times with the Warbow of Kaba. And then the Slave Orcs got lucky and pounded straight through the unit of the regiment of trolls and overran 6 full inches to get out of their charge arc. So I was in good shape right then. I mean, no, was I going to win anything up here? No, but I just figured out that I just delayed him, hopefully a whole nother turn. And if I could, maybe I could, get lucky and get him off that token. So I don't know. I mean, this was a good turn for me right here on this end, at least. Yep, going to get grim now. The Frostfang regiment charges into my already wounded unit of Obsidian Golems, and then the Clansmen countercharge. Now, they're up to quite a bit of wounds, so if I could survive this turn, I probably should take them out, and that's really the question. Can I survive this turn? Where I messed up this game is I meant to give the Ironcaster heal and the Shroud to be able to heal back units like that. I did. I looked on my sheet and I had the Shroud, and I was like, "Oh, you idiot!" And so, I mean, I had, I did 2 points of healing when I really thought I could do 3 or 4 if I would have just had the spell too. Over here, the Ice Naiad Horde charged my Greater Obsidian Golem in the flank and did 13 wounds, but miraculously I held. You can see his Lord with the Wings of Honey Maze is now flown behind these units, and he's just going to pick and choose which one he wants to destroy. Dwarfs countercharge the Overmaster and do some wounds to him. The Snow Troll Prime is in the front of my Immortal Guard, and the nasty Cavern Dweller is now in the flank of my Immortal Guard. So Carl's dice rolling went off this turn. I think he did like 10 wounds to my lower abyssals and destroyed them. And now I am in if I wasn't in real trouble before, this is bad because now that unit of Clansmen is on my flank. The Lord on the Frostfang this turn decides he's going to beat the heck out of my abyssal half-breed and wavers him. Tragic, I know, but there's nothing I can really do about it. I had no choice but to move the Ironcaster up to try to take this charge. My strategy is going to be to hit him with the fireball, since they are really good at throwing fireballs, and then the Warbow of Kaba from the Slave Driver, whatever they're called, is going to shoot in there as well. And my only hope is actually to shoot this unit down at this point of the game. So instead of countercharging or charging into the Ice Naiads, I just went ahead and charged into the rear of that stupid Cavern Dweller. Those things have plagued me a couple of games. They're very hard to kill, and I needed him out of the game for sure. I guess we just countercharged back into the Dwarfs again, hoping to kill him with my 400 and something points of stuff sitting there. When I started this turn, the clansmen were heavily damaged by the previous Sharnock shooting and then the fight with the obsidian golem. So when the Ironcaster opened up and the Warbow of Kaba rolled just enough to kill that unit, and with no inspiring nearby, they fell off the world. And so now I'm back alive again, at least with one unit here in the middle. Carl's Snow Trolls have decided that my slave orcs need to die, and I've just been hiding them. You can see I've moved them back as far as they can go, just about. So, but now he's starting to move toward them to kill them. So after the fight, I had a glimmer of hope. We destroyed the unit of dwarves finally, which should have been done in one turn. The Immortal Guard destroyed the Snow Troll Prime, and they turned to the left toward the Ice Naiads, and then the Greater Obsidian Golem turns to face the unit of Ice Naiads coming them from the front. So we have a small glimmer of hope here, and the thing is I actually have 3 token points right now, or loot counters over here in this mess. And if I could just get them away from them, I don't have to beat them. I just have to get away from them so they can't reach me with and get my loot counters back. And look here, I had even more glimmer of hope as I took out the Frostfang regiment, and now I was facing toward the Lord on the Frostfang. If I can just get in there next turn and move and get surged into him, maybe I could take him out and perhaps capture that objective. But then I remember you can't be surged if you have the token, so I was going to have to drop it back here in the woods, and I had nothing to pick it up. If you look at it this turn, it's actually a pretty good turn because I got rid of the Ice-Kin Bolt Thrower. Now the Slave Orcs are going to get back into the battle. And then so I've got the 1 unit of Golems free, and I've got the Slave Orcs free to go to cause some mayhem somewhere. And there's a token there that with the Lord on Frostfang has, but he's got my Abyssal Half-Breed waiver here too. So Carl chose to move the Snow Troll Primes into the Slave Orcs. And I actually look at it now, that's actually a very risky move because, the only thing holding his 2-point token now is the Lord on the Frostfang. And he's about to get in trouble because the Slave Orcs are back there still, and the unit of Obsidian Golems that you just can't see out of the right side of the picture. His Snow Foxes went ahead and charged into the Slave Orcs, hoping to at least stop them from moving. The Lord on Frostfang has still been pounding all over my Abyssal Half-Breed champion, and this turn he had him up to 9 wounds, and then Carl very nicely rolled a Snake Eyes for me, and that is going to help me a lot because he's on top of that 2-point token now. Maybe he could bring something in there and get that token away from him. So the Ice Naiads go ahead and charge into the very, very wounded Greater Obsidian Golem. It's going to be it for this guy. His Lord with the Wings of Honey Maze goes into my Overmaster, predictably, to try to take him out. Despite the loss of the Greater Obsidian Golem, I'm still not in horrid shape. I have a pretty much intact unit of, they're not intact, they're wounded, but they're Immortal Guard. They have really good leadership and stuff. The tragic thing was that his Lord of the Wings of Honey Maze just beat the tar out of my Overmaster. Rolled really super well. My bright spot is my Grotesque. Still have 3 points of tokens up there, and if I can just live, I could win this game very easily at this point. So my Immortal Guard had to charge the Ice Naiads. I know how pointless that is to charge those stupid things with Ensnare and Regen. Oh my gosh. But I had to do it. The Overmaster goes ahead and countercharges back into his Lord with the Wings of Honey Maze. And then I don't know why I did this. I guess my ally was talking to me. Oh, I know why, because I had to come up and get the token away from the Immortal Guard, and the Grotesque will pick that up this turn. I had to drop the token to surge the Lesser Obsidian Golems into the Lord on the Frostfang. So I'm basically switching a 2 for a 1 this turn. The Overmaster standing there, not Overmaster, I'm sorry. The Ironcaster staying there on it, but of course he can't do anything with it since he has no unit strength. Carl's dice went off again, and these Ice Naiads easily destroyed the unit of Immortal Guard despite the presence of the Overmaster there. It's going to be bad, and I think that his Lord with the Wings of Honeymaze destroys the Overmaster this turn as well. Yes, the Lord indeed did kill the Overmaster this turn and rolled particularly well, and then the reroll was even better. So this is bad. Now, see, there's three token points sitting right there, and one little scrawny unit of one little regiment of Grotesque holding all three of the loot tokens, and they have to survive this turn for me to win. Otherwise, I lose. So over here, I marched the Slave Orcs Gore Riders up and had to drop the token with the Lesser Obsidian Golems, and they picked it up. And then the Lesser Obsidian Golems move into the woods, and the Ironcaster goes ahead and surges them onto the other tokens. So now I've got three over here, and if I could hold the three on the other side, I'm going to win. I even suicide charged the Abyssal Half-Breed Champion into the Trolls to keep them from charging through and getting to the Slave Orcs, because they would kill them if they got there this turn. If you're counting, I think that Ice Naiad unit has killed half my damn army. But they charge in with the Grotesque, and I think I could have survived the just them charging in. But then the Lord with the Wings of Honeymaze comes in and just finishes them off. So that gives Carl all three tokens there. And that one sneaky little Snow Fox unit that had grabbed that token and walked to the other side of the table gives him the game 4-3. What a fantastic ending. From just a lethal game of back and forth. You realize he's lost a ton of units. I've lost a ton of units. Just a handful left on the table. I'll just tell you right now, I deserve to lose this game. The reason why is because I'm using unpainted models. There, I've confessed. No, actually, Carl played an excellent game. Was very patient. Did the right thing. I thought he should have moved more aggressively, and it turned out that his patience was the way to win. And Carl normally likes to go second, and I guess this is going second in this game gave him a significant advantage at the very end here as he was able to capture these things. So great game, Carl. The people that say I never lose these things, they're wrong. I didn't really want to do this one because of having the unpainted models and the stain of my reputation on it. But I just went ahead and played it, and since Carl beat me down, I knew I would go ahead and do the battle report after this. Got to say, I screwed up on my Abyssal Dwarf list. The Ironcaster had the wrong stuff on him. Not so sure that the Charon upgrades on the Golems would have worked, but then again, I think I was out of position a lot of times during this game when I really... I think I needed the Ironcaster near the Greater Obsidian Golem, but then on the other hand, he helped me not lose the game over here by surging some guys around to get to the objectives, or loot tokens, I mean. So hard to say what would happen. I could have used another source of surge, that's a fact, but it wasn't imperative. Everything is kind of based on my model limitation right now. I'm just now starting to put them together, and some of them proxy pretty well, like these Grotesque do. They look like Grotesque. So, I mean, they could stay in the army, but I'm not impressed with the Grotesque at all. Hitting on 4 is just as garbage. And 9 swings hit on 4 for this regiment, that's not very good, even though they are, fairly quick and stuff. And really disappointed when they charged that little dwarf unit in the flank and didn't kill it. I mean, I was like, it's 18 swings for 4s and anything buts. But because it's 4s, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, it could be bad. The Lesser Obsidian Golems, I think, did really well. The one unit got unlucky when it took just a spike to damage over there, but the other one, I mean, it did. I mean, it chopped down it wounded the Tundra Wolves, and then it killed the Tundra Wolves, and then it killed the Frostfang guys, and then it killed the Lord on a Frostfang, and got a 2-point token or a 1-point token out of it at the end of the game. So that one unit actually did really, really well. The Overmaster, I misused him. I should have moved him over there where the gargoyles were. He should have been way out on the flank like that, and get a better angle toward the middle. I mean, basically, I was using him as a straight to the front charge thing, which is a total waste of 300 points. I might as well just have another unit if I'm going to do that. So the didn't use him right this game. I think I used him really well last game that I tried him, but that was with my Ratkin slaves, and they're just a different army altogether. So I don't know what I'm going to do to change my Abyssal Dwarf army. I can't decide if I need decimators or not, and maybe I don't. I'm not really used to using that much shooting. But I will probably change the list next time because, like I said, some of it was just based on models I had available at the time, and I'll probably do some changes to the list just to keep trying it around, and look at some of your all's list for Abyssal Dwarves. I would be really interested in seeing both 2,000 and 2,300 point Abyssal Dwarf list to consider for the upcoming tournament year, because I have one tournament coming up this summer, and I may take them, I may not. It just depends. The Carl's army was vastly improved with him. We had to drop his clansmen and his house Carls, but on the other hand, it gave him all these. It got his chaff ratio exactly where it should be, so that before I was getting lucky because I could just charge straight into some of his things and kill him. Well, now he's got just enough chaff that I can't just direct straight into him anymore. And then these little lone, like the Cavern Dweller and that Snow Troll Prime and stuff, just so versatile. They score. They got decent combat statistics. Lord on a Frostfang scores. Really good combat. I like this list much better. It has more speed to it with the cavalry, and then the not near static. And like I say, all those little unit strength 1 monsters running around all over the place. And then his lord with the Wings of Honey Maze just absolutely eat me up this game. I mean, he killed the Overmaster by himself. I don't think anything else even swung at it. I think he killed it outright by himself. And then he killed my gargoyles, and at the end of the game, he charges in and finishes off the grotesque. So I think I really like this version of his army the best. Of all Carl's armies, I've lost his Northern Alliance the most. So and I think he really likes them, and I think they're painted beautifully. And so I really encourage him to keep playing them and taking them up. And he's got that one unit, a little flexible unit there, the dwarves that we put in it. But that could be anything. That could be a human clansman or something if you just wanted it to be. So anyway, great game, Carl. I am really happy with how you played. I thought you did everything well, and I'll see you next week, and hopefully I'll bring a better Abyssal Dwarf army to beat you down. He was talking trash all week, and sure enough, he came over here and just stomped my face in this game. So I'm really happy for him. He was able to back up his trash talk of the week. So I'll see y'all next time, and hope you enjoyed the battle report.